1 year, 1 world. A completely original idea. Shout out Throarbin. I will be spending an entire year dedicated to 1 world in Terraria in the new 1.4.5 update. But here, I will be trying to collect every single item possible and will be doing it on the drunk seed. So sit back, relax, let's get started. I've tried to collect everything on a world a couple of times before, but I wasn't very consistent with it. I'm hoping with the time that spending a year on 1 world will let me slow down instead of progressing the world too fast. First, I need a name. Riffing off of the Terraria's use of true in weapon names, I go with True Collector. Had to spice it up a bit though, you know? For the world we go large, master mode, and we name it
Fine addition to my collection.
Entering the world for the first time, I find one of the changes to a drunk world seed. The party girl is the starting NPC. I know I'm going to want the guide to help with crafting, so I'm going to need to get a bunch of wood to get houses built. I don't know much about the drunk seed, minus a couple of things, so there will be a lot I find out throughout this run. I make sure I leave all the rubble to break later when I have a net so I can actually catch the worms. Then Pinky hops out of nowhere, which is kind of a crazy way to start the world, but it would take me an hour to finish him off, so I just leave him be. I'm going to need a lot of ore, even the low tier ores, to create all the armor, weapons, and tools, so I will usually pick up any ore I see, especially big veins like this. I like my ores in big veins just like... You know what? It's a little too early in the video for this. After exploring the surface some more, I find some living wood trees, which come to find out, there are a boatload of living wood trees on the drunk seed. Unfortunately, while exploring a tree, I expect some platforms and fall to my death. Ow. That's tough. That's real tough. First of the year, I collect some gear from the living wood chest while I avoid a gnome until it tracks me down. Okay. Nope. Nope. Ooh, a step stool. What a worthless... I hate that accessory so much. Actually so sick. Yeah. I hate that this is working really well. The one time I called it out. Wait, can I do this and then jump up? Oh my god, I didn't know that. That's actually kind of helpful. While continuing to explore the surface, I see one of the best additions in 1.4.5, the Aurora Borealis. I know 1.4.5 has kind of had mixed reviews, I feel like, especially because there's not a whole lot of new content, but the previous content has been enhanced or updated. Or there are more interesting details in the background or designs or just the art in general, like the Aurora Borealis. And as time goes on, my thoughts on the step stool change. Oh, come on, man. I hate that I'm kind of starting to like the stool. I hate that it works in those situations, man. I'm getting a new appreciation for it. Still trash, but I'm getting a new appreciation for it. Something else that is new in the 1.4.5 update is the hurt sound items. I find the cowbell in a living wood chest, which I find out isn't the sound of a cow, but just actually the cowbell. I finally find a living wood and leaf wand after many living wood chests. I was hoping to get these because I always love doing the treehouse-esque build with these items. But as you will soon come to find out, I am not a great builder. Continuing to explore, I decided to take a risk. I dropped 2 gold. And dropped 2 gold instead of using some of the almost 900 rope I have. After picking up the money, I find a living wood area that I like, and find Moonlord legs in a chest. Whoops. Moonlord legs? Excuse you? I've never seen these before, and they're hilarious. What? What? What is this? What is this? Oh my goodness. Holy jump height, Batman. And actually really good, especially this early on. As I said before, I love the living wood tree look, so I decided to set up my base here in the trees. And I soon find out that maybe the step stool and Moonlord legs are kind of cracked. That's actually kind of nuts. That is nuts. What? However, one downside of using a natural place like this for housing is that you need to replace all of the walls. Natural walls in this room need replacing. After getting a couple of rooms set up, the traveling merchant shows up for the first time. Unfortunately, there isn't much I can afford, but I take painting because I will need to get as many paintings as possible. And without knowing when these paintings show up again, I need to take them when I can. I also finally get the merchant to arrive, and I finally get a net so I can get all the worms from the rubble near the start. I also almost miss a golden bird. Biscuits and gravy, man. And then is that a grasshopper? Oh my god. Let's go. Let's go. What is that? A golden bird? Let's go. But I do get it. Something else that came in the newest update is crafting from nearby chests. Now, I will definitely be still organizing everything because I will need to find everything at some point. But this also means I need to set up a crafting center with all the chests and crafting benches I get. After getting this base started, I log off. Unfortunately, I didn't set my spawn, so I have to run back at night. Not ideal. And this is when I find out that my hurt sound is just a little ding of a cowbell. The cow sounded funny. Oh, it's just a cowbell. That is hilarious. It's hard to tell when you're getting hurt then. I get so confused what the sound is and don't realize how low on health I was. I die one more time before night starts to end, so as soon as the sun comes up, I break all the rubble at spawn and make my way back to base, picking up all the worms I can get. I get home with a whopping 42 worms. This will come in really handy because I feel like I'll be doing a lot of fishing. And then I'll need to get some glass. Let's go find the desert. Interesting. Oh god. It's actually such a good combination. Crazy. Here's the desert. Okay, it wasn't that far away. That's nice. I'll need to get to the ocean at some point to get the angler to do these fishing quests. But speaking of the desert, I want to soon go explore the underground desert because finding dig toys early on is going to be very helpful. After continuing past the desert, I feel like it is very tiny. I get there is more in this world to have on the surface with the additional evil biome, but still. While exploring, I find another living tree location that seems much cooler, but I already committed to my spot. I know I don't have a lot of items, but moving all of them would be such a pain in the ass. I don't explore the trees too much because I want to see the layout of the surface before the sun starts to set. However, just past the living wood trees, I find a hole to a sword shrine, and it actually has an enchanted sword. I think it is. Let's go! Or not broken hero sword, enchanted sword. Let's go. I think this is the first time I've ever gotten an enchanted sword. I don't often look for it because I kind of like the Star Fury better, and you can get it pretty easily with gravitation potions from pots or chests. But I don't know if it's always an enchanted sword on the drunk seed. That's something I can look up, or you can just let me know in the comments. This is awesome though. Sweet. Alright. I'll take it. Alright. You just absolutely climb. Holy smokes. Up, up, and away. I do find another desert, and I try to find the desert pyramid using the housing shortcut, but instead I find the corruption, get bum rushed, and die. You're bad. Okay, I only dropped 25 silver. I don't really care. But I did reach another desert, so I don't know if that I can actually find an unground desert over here. I head back home and actually set my spawn, then go down on one of my trees. I find an underground desert below my house, maybe, to be determined at this point, but I do find a life crystal right away. Also find a couple of gem trees. I know I'm going to need a decent amount of each gem for various crafting recipes, so I will be making a gem farm tree below my base at some point, which I've actually never done before. Also find a demon altar, which will come in handy for crafting boss spawns, but more importantly, I find a minecart track. This will be nice for exploring the underground. I also feel like minecart tracks are more prominent in the drunk seed because I find a bunch of these already in the first month. I TP home to check out the traveling merchant, but he doesn't really have much for me at this time, so I pass this time around. I don't want to trash anything over the year because everything will come in handy at some point, so I drop off everything and do some more chest organization after the nurse shows up. I also make a tungsten pickaxe so I can dig a little bit faster, and a fishing pulse for when I do get the angler from the ocean. In my first gold chest, I find Hermes boots. Not too bad. I take a minecart track to the underground desert and find a bass statue and a chisel in my first chest. Now I'm feeling this is a pretty lucky start to the run with Pinky at the very beginning, even though I didn't kill him. The altar, the Hermes boots, and now the bass statue and the chisel? Surely this will keep up. Right? I die a couple of times and find a pot with 15 gold. I take this home before I die. Again, good luck is a-rollin'. Before heading back down, the party girl didn't like me moving myself into her room for some odd reason, so I make myself a room. Back in the underground desert, I find a life crystal before killing myself on a rolling cactus. I really thought I could jump over it. I do find a gravitation potion next time around, so I immediately go looking for Sky Islands, even though it is dark out. I end up finding a shiny red balloon and a Star Fury. Again, this luck is feeling pretty good right now. All I need is a lucky horseshoe. And would you look at that? A horseshoe on a Sky Island before the potion wears off. Also, is this desert Sky Island a new thing? Because I haven't seen this before. Unfortunately, my house needs new walls, which I fix immediately upon my return to the base. But back to the underground desert, the Star Fury should be very helpful to find dig toys, so this shouldn't take long. I found it pretty quickly on my other world. But not only will it be nice to find dig toys, it'll be nice to take care of the cactus boulders. Obviously the mobs in the underground desert can be dangerous, but I've always had the hardest time with the cactus boulders. Or just with my own stupidity as I dig straight up to get some hearts and a life crystal, but I bury myself in sand. I go back and pick up the life crystal before deciding to continue my elevator downward to get some more health. It will be easier to look around for dig toys if I have more health to survive longer. You know, big brain move. I go back home to drop off the loot and to make a house for the zoologist before heading back to the underground desert with multiple potions. I am going to take this stuff because I do not want to die with my only spelunker potion because I do not have any moon glow at all. And I want to get dig toys so I can straighten this bad boy out. I also finally make some armor just to have something, and I make a tungsten helmet and a silver chest. Evil presence watch me. Yeah, I'm not going to the surface. I do not feel like fighting the eye right now. I am not ready. I don't have an arena, and it's just not ready for it. I find a chest with the Dune Rider boots and an encumbering stone, which is automatically on. It's kind of annoying. Why? Why would it automatically go assume I want to be encumbered? Okay, sure. But I do find the golfer. There's another golfer. He just spawned again. That's kind of funny. He's like, I will not be denied. I also have a gold pick, so I should be able to get that demon knight. Unfortunately, he gets slaughtered. Oh, Harry. Before I get slaughtered. And of course, the day is not here yet, so the eye spawns. I might as well give it a go. I mean, I guess I could try, I suppose. Okay, let's use the water sparking. Kind of forgot I have Hermes boots too, honestly. Oh, shucks. Oh, what do you want me to do there, man? What do you want me to do? And that certainly was a go. I start to head west to finish exploring that side of the world. Never mind, let's go find dig toys. Never mind, I need moonglow for spelunker potions, so let's go find some. It'll be easier to find dig toys with spelunker potions, so I don't want to miss anything through the desert. So let's focus on getting spelunker potion materials. Then I immediately go back underground because I forgot what I was doing while I was organizing my chests. I feel like this will not be the last time this happens. I do get life crystals, but unfortunately they don't help me avoid this rolling cactus. It bounced that much? What? I thought I was safe. Yeah, I was not safe. I do build an arena so that I'm prepared next time a boss spawns, but since I'm making it, I might as well use it. I make a platinum crown, and with the demon altar down my elevator, I make a slime crown. I place my bass statue down, which I actually forgot what it does, so 5 defense for the first few bosses is actually really nice. I make some potions, enough mana stars for 180 mana, a demon bow, and I spawn them. Start using a combination of the wand of sparking, demon bow with minimal jester arrows I had, and an enchanted sword. I almost trapped myself, but I do get out of it. Ow. 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 That was almost really bad. But after my jester arrows ran out, these basic arrows were not doing the trick, so I quickly go into my house, get throwing knives, shurikens, and grenades, and escape right after the king slime teleports in there. I also didn't buff. What am I doing? Slowly but surely, I whittled him down and finished him off. Good gravy. One boss down. Unfortunately, didn't get the slimy saddle, which is very nice for traversing down the elevator quickly. I almost always use the ninja armor for my vanity set, so I got the helmet and the chest for that. Finally, thinking of the moonglow. Let's just go to the left here and see what the jungle has to offer. I don't know where it is, but the tundra's on the right, so the jungle has to be on the left. While heading through the corruption, I get an Abigail's flower from my tombstone earlier. Very nice. Is that Abigail's flower? It is. Sick. I find more living trees and one that takes me to a life crystal and the dungeon. Oh, this is the dungeon. That's right. Oh, you can get a cool dungeon with it. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't think you'd be able to get a cool dungeon. Oh, yeah, I'll take an alchemy table. Oh, that is sick. I didn't think you could get a cool dungeon with the drunk seed. I guess you can. That is awesome. And I got a golden key. Let's go. I was kind of hoping that I could get a water bolt. I'm not following it for you. Okay, sick. Then I make a realization. I do know that Dungeon Guardian. You can get something from the Dungeon Guardian, can't you? So I gotta figure out how to beat him. And I want to try to do it legit on this world without just getting great gear and then scooting over somewhere else. Yeah, I've never defeated the Dungeon Guardian before, so I'm going to have to do some research on how to do that, because this will be interesting. Okay, that's interesting though, because I thought the drunk world was the exact same world no matter what. It was just the same seed. But no, it's just different guidelines that it generates the terrain by. I'm assuming. But then I get to the ocean and realize the jungle and the tundra are on the same side. But this is where the dungeon's at. Wait, so where's the jungle? Is the jungle on the same side as the tundra? I guess that's a thing in the drunk seed. Would have been nice to know beforehand, but here we are. But while I'm making this realization, the angler appears. I go home to make a room for him, but first I adjusted the crafting area a bit as well, and my mind wanders and I forget to do it at all. I am desperate to find Digtoys. He will just be so useful, so I want to get him as soon as possible. So let's get some Moonglow. I find the jungle right next to the tundra and get a Moonglow, but then find the Crimson right next to the jungle, and then the ocean right next to the Crimson. This is good to know how the world is laid out, as squished together as everything is. I head back to make hopefully more than one Spelunker potion. Well, that sucks. And buy a painting from the Traveling Merchant. Before going back down to find Digtoys, I begin to question if he is gated behind the Eye of Cthulhu. Spoiler alert, he's not. Instead of starting in the caves, I'm digging from the top to find Digtoys. Didn't find Digtoys, but got the magic conch, so that's helpful. I feel like, especially now with Digtoys, if you can survive the underground desert, it might be one of the best places to go right away in a run. Obviously, there's also fishing in the ocean to get a good pickaxe and hammer early on, but with the conch, Digtoys, and the chisel, there's such quality of life improvements in the underground desert for the early part of the run. I do get a life crystal to get to full health and head back to the jungle for more Moonglow. I am able to make 2 Spelunker potions with my blink root. Oh wow, I used the blink root? Oh man, okay. And finally make use of Scarab Bottoms, which I have barely used before, and I think that is a huge mistake. These are really nice to use early on and can make a big tunnel very quickly. I do end up finding 2 teleportation potions, which may come in handy later, mean Goblin Spikes, which are definitely better than the Cowbell in my opinion, 2 Thunder Sappers, another pair of Moonlord Legs, a Desert Minecart, and Storm Spear. I pop another potion and die. No, I just popped one too. What a waste. Traveling Merchant is back again, so I get another painting and a chalice. Very fancy. Now I need Blink Root for Spelunker potions, so I go spelunking. I'm able to find some and also find a Spelunker potion in the chest. I get some obsidian, which will be needed later, and head back to hopefully make more than 1 potion with this Blink Root. Come on, you only give me 1. I did find a minecart track farther down, so maybe if I go farther down with the Spelunker Potion, I can finally find Dig Toys. But nothing. And I get to the point where I start to wonder if he isn't in my world for some reason. Not a single Dig Toys. So I suppose I can go... But the Eye of Cthulhu shows up and I want some revenge. I also don't want to think about Dig Toys for a couple minutes. I comfortably handle the Eye with the lowest I get around 250 health, but now we have a shield, so now we can truly game. But then my mind goes back to Dig Toys. I got so paranoid about Dig Toys not being in my map yet, I double checked the 1.4.5 release date and this world's creation date. That is my mental state at this point. Like, let's confirm something here. 5 hours in. Okay, January 27th. When was 1.4.5 released? It was released on this day. So, let's just sleep through the night. Let's just sleep through the night, man. Well, no, let's go to the caves. I don't really want to look for him without Spelunker Potions, so I need to find more Blink Root again. While looking, I finally find a mace. Not that it's incredibly useful, but I usually find these earlier on. And the mace is really nice to pick up Deathweed and Moonglow and any other potion materials that are spawning naturally in the world. Just running around swinging that thing around. Which, pause, let's calm down. Let's calm down. And I also find a track that takes me to the underground tundra. I do go home and finally build a room for the angler, as well as a couple more for NPCs to move in so I don't have to rush something later to get them to show up. And of course, as I build those, the Dryad and the Dye Trader move in. I do get some sunflowers now so I can block off the evil biomes later, and also the Dye Vet so that it can eventually get all swagged out. I also make the Flaming Mace because might as well, and with the angler in, I finish my first fishing quests. One of many this year. While I'm at the base, I do something that I almost always do. I don't exactly know where I saw it first, but ever since, it has been a staple in my bases. I make 2 holes on either side and put lava at the bottom to farm events. I also start setting up my garden so that I have plenty of potion material. But enough delay. Back to finding Dig Toys. This time I decide to go down the hole that is already there on the surface. And I find him right away. Oh, there he is. Are you serious? Are you really this close, huh? After almost 5 hours on and off searching, I find him. Basically, right off the hole that is already there. Please, my buddy. Holy, it took forever. It's thrilling that I found him, but also very frustrating. And I also find some Dune Rider boots. Yay. I absolutely waste my Spelunker Potion to die into a giant antlion charger, but I got my prize. Now I have to straighten out my elevator. That has been really annoying me and will make it a lot easier to traverse later on. I do a couple of upkeeping things at the base. I fill in the walls in the garden and make platforms for future chests. I also use so much wood from the living wood and leaf wands, so I need to do my best Paul Bunyan impersonation. Dig Toys found a demon altar in my elevator, which is nice, but kind of annoying, because now there's just an altar jutting out in the middle of it. I also placed a second dye vat for some reason, and I didn't realize it until I started editing this video. One thing that is very nice about my base being in living wood trees is that I can get so many gnomes. I'm pretty sure they increase luck. Unless someone lied to me. And no one would lie on the internet. Also, what the hell is this? I'll have to find out another time. Now, I've been talking a lot just about what I'm doing to progress in the world. This is a 1 year, 1 world series, but I'm also trying to collect everything over the course of this 12 months. So how am I going to show everything? Before, when I started to do this, I put one of each item in a chest, but that doesn't really look cool. So this time around, for each furniture set, I'm going to build a little sort of vignette of all the furniture items in that set. I don't think I'll be able to get every piece of furniture placed right away. For example, I'll need to get a piano placed in this living wood vignette in the future. After finishing this build, which I like, but I'm sure could be improved, I finished the elevator with dig toys, in which I find a fairy choker, which I like a lot better than the screech of the goblin spikes. One problem with this world that I came across is that I don't have a surface desert water spot to fish from. I'm going to have to make my own desert lake to fish from in the future, unless that fountain I got from the Sky Island would work. I'm going to have to check that out. With dig toys back in my pocket now, I go to find the shimmer after sending him down to cut off the corruption, which doesn't work because obviously he can't dig ebonstone, which I'm sure kind of annoys other people, but it makes completely sense, otherwise it would break the game. Also, I want to look for a staff of regrowth so it's easier to collect potion materials, and I find one right away. Nice! My good luck is back! I also find a marble biome and a fiberglass fishing pole. It also seems like I found the jungle temple. I wanted to find the entrance, but kinda had to skedaddle before I lost all my money. While looking for the shimmer, I also find a nymph and get a metal detector. This is really nice, so I don't have to try to find one later on. Come across another minecart track and head to the right to see if I could find the shimmer underneath the ocean and hit the edge of the world. I honestly thought I was going to go off the map for a second, but then I head back the other way and I do actually find the shimmer. That went a lot better than I thought. However, instead of going through the entrance, I see an underground house to pilfer, then try to mine my way to the shimmer. Yeah, let's just go around and use the entrance. That might be smart. I use the life crystal there to get the perma health regen buff. This is such a good idea by Relogic, to have this here so that players have something to shimmer right away. Obviously, beginners might not know what's going on here, and then even then, they just get a life crystal. I know there are others that I should shimmer, but I'll have to look those up for next month. I do fall through the shimmer and find another minecart track. With dig toys, I find the granite biome and a spider cave. These and the marble biome are obviously not that important, but it's good to know where they are right away so that I can look for items in these locations later. And I don't have to go searching through the world to try to find them. I do make a tundra house, and like I mentioned before, I'm bad at building, so don't judge me. And while I wait for the NPCs to move in, I explore the tundra a bit and get an extractinator. I do get a Deerclops summon too, which is nice to have for later, but now I can extract the almost 300 silk and 900 desert fossils I have. And after about only 600 desert fossils, I get the amber mosquito. My luck is coming back. Now that I have the amber mosquito, I need to finish the ensemble, so I become a velociraptor with the finch on his head. And I finished the tundra house by including a bar in the basement, and I like it, with the finishing touch of the bar bathroom being an awful stone wall. If you've been to a bar, you know it tracks. My garden is starting to fill out too, which is nice, but I do need some fire blossom seeds to get my fire blossom started. And I don't have much luck finding fire blossoms, so I head to the shimmer, wondering if I could shimmer fire blossom into seeds. But I get nothing. Of course, I'll have to come back to this later. But now, I start setting up my armor and weapons area for display. I fight the eye a couple of times to get loot, build a gem farm, and do some angler fishing quests. When I get the pocket guide so I can see my fishing power in the other, I get a blood moon. So, I guess I can test out my lava holes. And I don't know why, but it seems like I'm not getting many spawns. I'm getting a decent amount of enemies detected nearby, but I wonder if there's a lot on top of the tree or in a cave near me. Because this isn't going as well as I thought, I go to get some death weed while it's blossomed so I can get those planters going as well. With my gem corn farm area finished, I make an amethyst hook to realize that it's worse than a normal grappling hook. This is actually shorter. Okay. For some reason, I thought amethyst was good, but it is not. I also make fossil armor, so I guess for now I'm maining ranger. Although I tend not to main a class pre-hard mode because I don't see the benefit as much as there is in hard mode. But maybe I'm wrong. I farmed King Slime a couple of times and almost blow this fight by falling in my own lava and getting wombo comboed.
Happy feet, wombo combo.
But eventually I finish him off twice and get this slimy saddle. I become the modern day Johnny Appleseed and make an ocean house. Again, I am not a builder, okay? And yes, I can see how I very closely started to build a penis. I see it now. But then King Slime spawns randomly and absolutely bodies me. Why? I don't know. I make a couple of updates to the Living Wood house vignette and the armor and weapons display. I also finally put some sweet dyes on to get dripped out. Also, the finch kind of looks ridiculous, so I switched to Abigail's flower. I don't know if Abigail is that much better, if at all, but it looks better, so that's all that matters. The last couple things I do is make a shimmer pylon. I'll need to make housing for this later. I fill out the copper and tin items in the armory. I think I may have to make a pre-hard mode and a hard mode area for this. I was planning to do it all in one, but it might become too big to look good if I do. I do not know yet. I'll have to figure that out in the next couple of months. I do finally craft a watch so I can get some fire blossom seeds. 10 seeds should be a good start, and I will have plenty in no time. I steal the vest off of the angler, and that is it for this month. 14 hours in, 2 bosses down, 11 months to go. This is going to be interesting. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, like, comment what I'm doing wrong, and subscribe. I'll try to keep up with this every month, so stick around, and I'll see you next time. Also, if you want to watch the old Terraria collector videos I have, I guess you can. I haven't watched them, though, so they might be really bad.